Hare Krishna. So we start. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmritanjena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manapodestam Snapitanyena Bhutale Shriyam Akada Padantika Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta Padaka Shri Guru Krishna Master Shri Rupa Saga Jata Sahagana Ragulatam Vikam Vikam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijata Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Raja Krishna Padasarana Kalita Shri Krishna Kavita Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Krishna Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Gunarvani Mukhaye Panchakapatarubhyascha Vipasyanam Nirayavacha Patitanam Parapanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So who can quickly remind us where we stopped last? Let's see. Those who are still following.
Krishna Prabhu, we stop at Bhagavad Gita chapter.
Test
331. What I got.
what?
331.
Oh, Haribo, thank you. Very good. Yeah, we stop at 331. So quickly, I will just go through some of the purpose we read together. Let me share it. PowerPoint. One minute. Okay.
Tripura is there also.
Hey, Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu is here. Haribo.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare
I'm
Krishna.
You're very good. How was your journey?
It was okay,
Yeah. Happy to see you again.
Of course, I said I would come.
Yeah, very good. So you're welcome. So let's continue. So in the we are now in test 31. So in the purport of 24, Srila Prabhupada condemned pseudo devotees or sahajas, putting themselves to be on the highest level of devotional service, but simultaneously are unable to follow the regulative principles. So Srila Prabhupada himself followed the mode of Lord Chaitanya and really discussed Lord Krishna intimate pastimes in public. Rather, he emphasized the basic principle of Krishna consciousness in his many lectures. Okay, and then in the same 24, Arjuna saying in chapter 1 that if he fought, the family dynasty will be destroyed, and this will cause unwanted population. So Krishna in verse 24 countered that argument and defeat Arjuna's reason by indirectly saying, if you neglect your duty and decline to fight, you will be the cause of Vanasankara also. That is an unwanted population. Then text 27. So Prabhupada also mentioned, says, in verse 27 discusses who is the doer of activity. I hope we all remember that verse. So this idea is also found in chapter 4 and expanded in chapter 5. So we're going to hear more of this in chapter 5. Then verse 29, Srila purport of the verse 29 is amplified, is compassion preaching mode, showing how devotees take all risks to enlighten ignorant men who even Lord Krishna himself advises to neglect. This is because Srila Prabhupada has understood the inner purpose of Lord Krishna to attract everyone to devotional service. So Lord Krishna later openly expressed his desire to freely give Krishna and Prem. when he appeared as Lord Chaitanya. Okay, this is some of what we discussed so far. See how devotees are more merciful than the Lord. The purport, express that in the purport. So now we're going to continue from where we stop. Verse 31. We stop at verse 31, so we go to verse 32. Okay. You see my screen?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yetu ekta abya soya yanto nano tishanti me matam sarva jnana vimodam stam vidi nashtamashita saha. For those who out of envy disregard these teachings and do not follow them regularly are to be considered bereft of all knowledge, be fooled and ruined in their endeavor for perfection. So the flaw of not being Krishna conscious is clearly stated here, as there is a punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Executive Head. So there is certainly punishment for disobedience to the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A disobedient person, however great he may be, is ignorant of his own self and of the Supreme Brahman, Paramatma, the personality of Godhead, due to a vacant heart. Therefore, there is no hope for perfection of life for him. So here, Krishna is clearly mentioning, if we don't follow the Vedas, the scripture of performing our duty, prescribed duty or sacrifice, as mentioned earlier on. So such person, they're bereft of knowledge, be fooled and ruining their endeavor for perfection. So Krishna is just simply summarizing for those who don't follow the teaching, what happens to them. So in text 33, it says, Sadishamse sase swasya prakitegi yanavam api akitim yanti bhutani nigraha kim kadishyati. Even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature he has acquired from the three modes. What can repression accomplish? So here Krishna is further explaining that we act based on the modes we have acquired, just like he mentioned in text 27, that actually out of first ago we are thinking we are the doer, but everything is carried out by the three modes of material nature. So here also is confirming that even a man of knowledge acts according to his own nature. For everyone follows the nature he has acquired from these three modes. What can repression accomplish? This verse is very, very important. Let's read the purport, then we'll come back again to talk more about this verse. Somebody want to read the purport?
I can read. So,
Yes, please go ahead.
unless one is situated on the transcendental platform of Krishna consciousness, he cannot get free from the influence of the modes of material nature, as it is confirmed by the Lord in the 7th chapter, 7.14. Therefore, even for the most highly educated person on the mundane plane, it is impossible to get out of the entanglement of Maya, simply by theoretical knowledge or by separating the soul from the body. There are many so-called spiritualists who outwardly pose as advanced in the science, but inwardly or privately are completely under particular modes of nature, which they are unable to surpass. Academically, one may be very learned, but because of his long association with material nature, he is in bondage. Krishna consciousness helps one to get out of the material entanglement, even though one may be engaged in his prescribed duties in terms of material existence. Therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. No one should suddenly give up his prescribed duties and become a so-called yogi or transcendentalist artificially. It is better to be situated in one's position and to try to attain Krishna consciousness under superior training. Thus, one may be freed from the clutches of Krishna's Maya. Hare Krishna.
Business is very, very practical for all of us. You know, so Krishna is saying here that we are all acting based on the modes in which we are situated. Some of us are more prominent in the mode of ignorance, some of us are more prominent in the mode of passion, some of us are more prominent in the mode of goodness. So based on the mode we acquire, we act. And sometimes we falsely think, because of reading the scripture, that we have come to transcendental level and want to act like pure devotees, which is not. So we can see by our behavior that we're still controlled by the mode of ignorance and passion, most of us. And that's why you see Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, therefore, without being fully in Krishna consciousness, one should not give up his occupational duties. We should not give up our duties if we are not fully Krishna conscious. Means we should continue to engage in our duties for purification. So no one should suddenly give up his prescribed duty and become a so-called transcendentalist artificially. Okay? It is better to be situated in one's position and try to attain Krishna consciousness under the superior training. Thus, one may be free from clutches of Krishna's Maya. So, means that we should engage in our prescribed duty, whatever is our duty, whatever is the work we are doing, and at the same time, try to be Krishna conscious. It's better for us to be able to fight against Maya in that way than to try to give up duties or prescribed duties and become thinking that we have become so-called transcendentalists. This is what Prabhupada is talking in that this particular purport. Any comment or contribution? Okay, I will just go read a little from Surrender Unto Me, from based on 31 and 32. So Srila Prabhupada explained the injunction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the essence of all Vedic wisdom, and therefore is eternally true without exception. As the Vedas are eternal, so this truth of Krishna consciousness is also eternal. So one should have firm faith in this injunction. Without envying the Lord, there are many philosophers who write comments on the Bhagavad Gita, but have no faith in Krishna. They will never be liberated from the bondage of fruitive action. So in this verse, Krishna spoke of the faithful, knowledgeable, non-envious person. So in text 32, we hear the defect of not developing those qualities, just like we have already read. So on one hand, success, on the other hand, ruination. This is Arjuna's choice. So the question arises, why do some people choose incorrectly and neglect Krishna's order? Why do they choose Maya? When such a choice will bring such obvious negative result? Krishna answered the following. In 33, we just read now. Maya is invested with the potency to push a condition so away from Krishna consciousness. The next sloka answered the question. If we are simply acting according to our nature, what is the use of rules and regulation in the Shastra? Okay, so let's read the next verse. Any comments or contribution regarding what you have read so far? Okay,
can you repeat? Sorry, Prabhu, can you repeat that last statement, that last line?
Yeah, it says, Maya is invested with the potency to push a conditioned soul away from Krishna consciousness. So the next sloka answer the question, if we are simply acting according to our nature, what is the use of rules and regulation in the Shastra? That is what we are going to read now. If we are simply acting according to our nature, what is the use of the rules and regulation in the Shastra, in the scripture? Okay?
Right,
so
right.
What we are reading now. So here it says, it's mentioned, Indriyarte raga dvesho vyavasito tayona vashamagachet tauhiyasya paripantino. So there are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to the senses and their objects. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion. because they are stumbling block on the part of self-realization. There are principles to regulate attachment and aversion pertaining to senses and their object. One should not come under the control of such attachment and aversion because they are stumbling block on the part of realization. So that is actually the question that we just heard from the surrender unto me now. So let's read the purpose so that we get more clarification from Srila Prabhupada. Somebody want to read?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Oh.
Those who are in Krishna consciousness are naturally reluctant to engage in material sense gratification. But those who are not in such consciousness should follow the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures. Unrestricted sense enjoyment is the cause of material engagement. But one who follows the rules and regulations of the revealed scriptures does not become entangled by the sense objects. For example, sex enjoyment is a necessity for the conditioned soul, and sex enjoyment is allowed under the license of marriage ties. According to scriptural injunctions, one is forbidden to engage in sex relationships with any woman other than one's wife. All other women are to be considered as one's mother. But in spite of such injunctions, a man is still inclined to have sex relationships with other women. These propensities are to be curbed. Otherwise, they will be stumbling blocks on the path of self-realization. As long as the material body is there, the necessities of the material body are allowed, but under rules and regulations. And yet, we should not rely upon the control of such allowances. One has to follow those rules and regulations, unattached to them, because practice of sense gratification under regulations may also lead one to go astray, as much as there is always the chance of an accident, even on the royal roads. Although they may be very carefully maintained, no one can guarantee that there will be no danger even on the safest road. The sense enjoyment spirit has been current a very long time, owing to material association. Therefore, in spite of the regulated sense enjoyment, there is every chance of falling down. Therefore, any attachment for regulated sense enjoyment must also be avoided by all means. But attachment to Krishna consciousness or acting always in the loving service of Krishna detaches one from all kinds of sensory activities. Therefore, no one should try to be detached from Krishna consciousness at any stage of life. The whole purpose of detachment from all kinds of sense attachment is ultimately to become situated on the platform of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
So in the surrender to me, according to the dictates of the laws of nature, the conditioned living entity does whatever his mind suggests. So the mind in turn surrender to the senses and does whatever we are attached to, raga. So we do whatever we are about to instruct us that our action should not be based on attachment and aversion because there are stumbling blocks on the part of self-realization. So the senses are attracted to the pleasure of this world, especially sex life and wealth. There are reports by only places, fasting, following and our spiritual master and other items that limit sense enjoyment. The Shastra tried to shift our raga and desha away from sense gratification by encouraging us to perform our duty with the ultimate aim of acting only for Krishna pleasure. Okay, so the next verse therefore again stresses that we should perform our prescribed duty. So this is a very interesting verse actually, because this is telling how because in the material world we only love to do what pleases our senses and try to avoid what is not pleasing to our senses. So based on that, we follow the regulative principle of the scripture. And that is what Krishna is saying here, that even that also we have to avoid the attachment and aversion, regulative principle of the scripture based on our sense pleasure. So everything has to be for pleasure of Krishna, that is pleasing of Krishna. Anukuyena Krishna nu Shenana Bhakti. So by engaging what is favorable to pleasing Krishna, then that is be very good for our performing our duty. So we have to take note of this. Any question, comment?
Yeah, Prabhu, can you give an example?
Okay, very good. Just for example, like for example, if you are staying in a cold environment, like let's say for example, maybe in Mayapur during winter, you don't want to go to Magalati, okay? But we are supposed to go to Magalati according to rules and regulation. We don't want to go to Magalati because it's cold. Our senses our body doesn't allow us we don't want to go to Magalati. So even though we know that we have to go to Bhagavad, but because it's not pleasing to us, we don't want to go. So, and maybe we are saying we should not eat chocolate, but because our tongue like it, we want to eat. So all these rules and regulations, we only pick the one that is pleasurable to us. We attach to the one that is good for our sense of pleasure, and the one that is not good for us, we try to avoid them, something like that. And that is why you see Prabhupada gave a very nice analogy also in the purport. That even though if we are following the rules and regulations of the scripture, which is just like going on the very royal road, there is no assurance that there will not be accident on that royal road. So it means that even if we are following the regulating principle of the scripture based on what we like and what we don't like from the scripture, still there is no chance that we can become Krishna conscious. So that is why doing things that gives Krishna pleasure or walking in Krishna consciousness is the only safest way. That I don't like to come from Magalati, but because it's going to be pleasing to Krishna, I will go anyway, even though if it's cold. Okay, I love eating chocolates, but because somehow Prabhupada said we should not eat, it's pleasing to Krishna, I will not eat. Something like that. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yeah. So, like, you know, this verse, Patram Pushram Phalam Toyam, Yome Bhakta Priyachite,
Yes.
Bhakti, you know.
Yes,
So,
go ahead, Prabhu.
like, sometimes some devotees will think like, well, I think Krishna will like this. You know, I'm making it with love and I like it, but you know, I'm making it with love and devotion for Krishna. I mean, if I like it, then why shouldn't Krishna like it? You know. So let me offer to Krishna so he can at least try it. You know, maybe he'll like it. You know.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
It's not a traditional dish that he has mentioned in scripture, but you know, I don't know if he likes it. Let me offer to him, and then maybe he'll like it.
Yeah, you're right. That is also true. But there's one thing also because of in our neophyte stage, there's also that point, like you are talking about offering food, because you mentioned about food. I will going to use that as an example. Because in our stage, see, if somebody cooks something in the temple and we don't like it, even though Krishna love it, everybody will go there, they will not touch the food. And end of the day, you either throw it in the waste bag or you know. But Krishna may love it, but because we are not on that high level of doing what is pleasing to Krishna, no, I don't like it. Nah, you know, we leave it. So sometimes you see, even in the temple, even when we are trying to cook for Krishna, we are thinking of what devotees are going to like. Because if you cook what they don't like, it will waste somehow or the other. So in the neophyte stage, you know, this is a little bit complicated. It's not very straightforward like that. Especially when it comes to food. You know, like Krishna loves sweets. Krishna loves sweets, but you see so many devotees, they don't like sweets. You know, so when you make so much sweets, everything will just lie down on the table, in the fridge. They will not touch it because they don't like sweets. Many of them, you know, they prefer to go and take coffee and all those things. But The sweets, they sweet in the mode of goodness, they will never love that. They will abandon that. You know? So that is so that one is a little bit complicated, but it's still the same, just like you mentioned. Yes. So because Krishna loved it, we need to make it for Krishna. But if we are doing that, we have to make sure that we make it in a way that it will not waste.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes,
thank you, Prabhu.
Any other contribution? Comments? Because this particular, talking about this Karma Yoga, and here Krishna is trying to run this particular chapter up. You know, this will end in 35. Then Arjuna will ask question about lost to Krishna. So that is what Krishna is trying to, is rounding up about Karma Yoga, that's engaging once in one prescribed duty for the pleasure of Krishna. So Krishna is mentioning other things, those who are not connected to Krishna consciousness, what happens to them. And now it's talking about how the devotee can should follow the rules and regulation of the scripture, but it should not be a stumbling block for making advancement. Okay, let me continue. Let's go to text 45, which is the end of this particular topic. Then we do a little bit, we do exercise. And if we have more time, we can start about the loss today. If not, we'll start from Monday. Then we're talking about loss, you know. Okay, Shayan Swadarmo Viguna Paradarma Swaneositat Swadarme Nidanam Treya Parandarmo Bayavaha. So it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duty perfectly. Distraction in the course of performing one's own duty is better than engaging in another's duty. For following another's path is dangerous. We are used to hearing about this verse. Now we know where it's coming from. Okay? So Krishna is saying it is far better to discharge one prescribed duty, even though faultily, than another's duty perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's duty is better than engaging in another's duty, for the following of another path is dangerous. Let's listen to Srila Prabhupada's purport for clearer. Somebody want to read, please? Let's read.
I can read.
Yes, Prabhu.
One should therefore discharge his prescribed duties in full Krishna consciousness rather than those prescribed for others. Materially prescribed duties are duties enjoined according to one's psychophysical condition, under the spell of the modes of material nature. Spiritual duties are as ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Krishna. But whether material or spiritual, one should stick to his prescribed duties even up to death, rather than imitate another's prescribed duties. Duties on the spiritual platform and duties on the material platform may be different, but the principle of following the authorized direction is always good for the performer. When one is under the spell of the modes of material nature, one should follow the prescribed rules for his particular situation and should not imitate others. For example, a Brahmana who is in the mode of goodness is non-violent, whereas a Kshatriya who is in the mode of passion is allowed to be violent. As such, for a Kshatriya, it is better to be vanquished following the rules of violence than to imitate a Brahmana who follows the principles of non-violence. Everyone has to cleanse his heart by the gradual process, not abruptly. However, when one transcends the modes of material nature and is fully situated in Krishna consciousness, he can perform anything and everything under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. In that complete stage of Krishna consciousness, the Kshatriya may act as a Brahmana, or a Brahmana may act as a Kshatriya. In the transcendental stage, the distinctions of the material world do not apply. For example, Vishwamitra was originally a Kshatriya, but later on he acted as a Brahmana, whereas Parashuram was a Brahmana, but later on acted as a Kshatriya. Being transcendentally situated, they could do so, but as long as one is on the material platform, he must perform his duties according to the modes of material nature. At the same time, he must have a full sense of Krishna consciousness.
Very much so. So this is very important for all of us as a devotee, especially both surrender devotees, stay in the temple full time, and those who are working outside. This is very, very important for us. Let me give a very good example. Tripura Mataji, she's here. Our duty as a Tripura Mataji is a student. So our duty is to study and pass our exams. That is our duty now as a student. So if she leaves her duty, which is to study, and is going to do puja in the temple, then there will be a problem. Because our duty as a student is to study. So I will use another example. Another example is Mother Niharika, who is working. You know, our duty is to do our work very diligently, okay? And also engage in the spiritual activity in the temple, if she gets opportunity to do that. But if you leave our duty, which is currently doing, and you say, no, I want to be transcendental and stay in the temple, and if she's not transcendental, she's going to have a problem in the temple. So we have to know how to balance our life. Knowing how to do our duty, like Papa mentioned in the beginning of that purport, psychophysical nature. What does that mean? Means engaging duty based on our body and our mind, psychophysical nature. Prabhupada gave a very good example in the purport also about a Brahmana. What is the duty of a Brahmana? What is the psychophysical nature of a Brahmana? They enjoy studying. They can study from morning till night. They can, recite shlokas. They can do jagya. This is the what their body is made for. Sorry. And the Kshatriya, their body is made for fighting. Prabhupada gave a very good example of someone who changed his duty in the same lifetime. The Vishwamitra. It was a Kshatriya, became a Brahmana. Okay, by performing austerity. It's not always easy to change one's duty, because your duty is embedded in your body and your mind. Naturally, if you have not discovered your duty, continue your prescribed duty, continue to search until you find that thing that you love doing, that you enjoy doing at the same time you can remember God. Then that is your prescribed duty. Okay? So something that will not make you to forget God, even when you are doing it, you enjoy doing it. So this is the purpose of this particular verse, that Krishna is saying that we are doing our duty even fortily, because there's no perfect duty in this world. There's going to be some faults. So if there's fault in that our duty we are doing, it's better to do it than to go and because you see other somebody staying in the temple is not working and is getting prasadam and sleeping, and I just want to go and be like them. Then when you go there, you become miserable. Your mind will start disturbing you. You will not be happy. Okay, then you start fighting everyone. So it's better to do our duty based on our nature of our body and our mind, and at the same time be Krishna conscious. In that way, we'll be happy. Then gradually, we can become, as we are growing older and older, we become purified. Then it will become easy for us to become fully Krishna conscious. Many devotees in the early days, they got this wrong. And many later when they are old, when they're supposed to be retiring, then they started thinking of what to do about their life. Because they got this wrong in the beginning. They were trying to be who they are not. Just stay in the temple, and they lost focus about life, and then just sleeping and taking prasadam. They are supposed to come from Magalati for many years, and they're just forcing themselves, pushing themselves around. Then when they become a little bit old, they started realizing, no, I think I need to go and do yoga. Oh, I think I need to go and open yoga school. Oh, I think I need to go and do this. Oh, I think I need. So at the old age at the end of their life, they're thinking to do so many things, which they would have thought of earlier in their life. So there's nowhere in this part of Bhagavad Gita we are reading so far where Krishna say we should give up our prescribed duty. According to Prabhupada's 440, Prabhupada say we should gradually become purified by engaging in our duty at the same time becoming Krishna conscious. Actually, we should be best in our duty than any other person around us. Like I was saying, Tripura Mataji, she should carry first in her class so that all our friends, they will appreciate Krishna consciousness. Say, oh, I want to, Tripura Mataji, I want to chant Hare Krishna also. No, you are doing well in your studies. It should be like that. Okay. So let's continue. And so we are going to do some exercise here. We're going to divide into 2 groups. Please take note of your group and your particular assignments. Group 1, their particular assignment will be for preaching application, and then group 2, their particular assignment will be for the mode and mission of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, so please take your time to write the 2 questions down. Then when you find out the group you are, then you can apply accordingly. So I'm going to break you into 2 groups. Okay, and just like I always say, please, before starting the assignment, before starting the particular activity given, let us pick one person before we start. Okay, Prabhuji, you are going to represent our group. Oh, Mataji, you are going to represent our group to speak. So that when you are having a discussion, the person will be taking note what everybody is discussing, so that he's going to present it at the end. If you are picking the person at the end, it will not be very good because they may not be taking points. So when you start, if you pick the person in the beginning, it's very helpful because then the person can take down what is going to present. So you will not waste time at the end of the particular activity. So I'm going to divide us into 2 groups now. Okay. So we have, yes, Masaji, please unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, like when will be the submission?
No. We are going to present at the end of the activity here.
Yeah, okay, fine.
So there's a 15 minutes activities, then at the end, we'll be given 5 minutes to speak.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so once you find yourself in the group, boom, you discuss. You just see yourself. So group 1, have we taken out down the questions, the activity to be done? Yes, so please take a note, and then you just find, please, when you see the button on your screen, just click and go to the group. Thank you. Click the button on your screen and join your group. Great.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Kavi. I think I clicked the X button.
You didn't go
That's
to
why
your
it
group,
said-
Abu. You didn't join.
It was.
Oh,
join-
don't worry. I will send you back there now.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Don't worry, I will send you back. You came back again.
Yeah, it was sending me back. I don't know why.
No. Wait, don't touch anything. I will tell you when to touch. Just wait 1 minute. Don't touch down. Okay, now touch.
I didn't touch anything. Probably I'm supposed to be on group 1 because that's the group I was.
You're supposed
I
to be
was
in group
being.
1. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
supposed to be in group 1.
I was being
Because,
sent the first time there.
so don't worry.